Alright, Sean, let's go ahead and review some Chuch Berry licks that we were covering in B flat minor. Lick number 1. Third finger bends on the 8th fret. First finger goes on the 6th fret of B. Now this is very rhythmic, as most stuff that Chuch Berry does. Going to be, it's like a unison bend. If you were to put it together, it is technically a unison bend. Maybe that's something you'd like to work on as well if you think it sounds pretty cool. But again, lick number 1. All down picking on this one. You really don't need to do any up picking on this. I think up picking would probably give you a little extra work that you probably don't need to do to make the lick happen. But again, lick number 1. Alright, lick number 2 starts combining some of the blue notes that we started to cover within this scale. The blue notes I wrote out, tabbed out for you on a chart there. I believe actually I wrote it out as tab as well. But we start to get into them, and what we do with those is that it colors the sound. It makes it sound a little bluesier, maybe a little, I should say, early rock. I'd say like around the Chuch Berry time period there. But a lot of other bands like the Allman Brothers and that kind of southern rock stuff also use blue notes too. So it kind of goes across the board in some degrees. So cool. The first one here is we bend the 8th fret like we did on the last one. First finger comes across on the 6th fret of the high E and B. And now we get the blue notes in there. I do recommend doing alternate picking on this one. So, first part of it again is. One more time. One more time. Finish it off with a bar on our 3rd finger on the 8th fret of the D and the G. First finger goes on the 6th fret of the D and the G as well, with a hammer onto the 7th fret of the G. And then first finger bars across the 6th fret of the B and the G, keeping your 2nd finger on the G and your 1st finger on the across all 3 or on just the top 2. Whichever one's more comfortable for you on that one works. So I'm going to do it nice and slow again. One more time. Alright, next lick. We have our 3rd finger on the 8th fret still, and our 1st finger is going to be on the 6th fret of the B and the high E. Pretty popular lick right here. It's used in, of course, a lot of rock, but I mean, you'll hear this thing even today with some modern bands that have some leads too, whether they be straight hard rock or metal or whatnot. So I mean, this one has definitely transcended some genre and time for sure. So what we have here is 3rd finger bends on the 8. First finger comes down on the 6th fret of the B and the high E. All down picking. The down picking is definitely going to give it more of like that bluesy feel that Chuch Berry has. So all down picking on this one's best. 3, 4. And the next lick, we have our 3rd finger going on the 8th fret of the B, and our 4th finger going on the 7th fret of the high E, and we bend the 8th fret on the B string, keep the 4th finger on the 9th fret without bending that. some good tension in there, so you can definitely hear those blue notes kind of working right there. So. The lick before it and this one go perfectly together. So, as an example, that last one you could up pick or down pick. I up picked it in the second time. Reason why, it gives it a little bit of a choppiness. So if you just do down picking, it's not bad, it's not wrong either, but when you do an up pick, part of your finger kind of hits the string, so it sounds a little choppy, which is nice. Awesome. Keep up on the blue notes too throughout the minor pentatonic scale, because I mean you're going to see quite a bit of them coming up through a lot of stuff that you have been listening to as well. Call or email anytime if you got any questions.